This video is brought to you by Grandeur Warranty, your #1 online source for factory-backed extended warranties in the country.
The Chevy Tahoe has been the best-selling full-size SUV for years. But what makes it so popular? Well, it has a great interior for starters. I mean, this 17.7-inch screen with Google built-in, wireless Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, not to mention a plethora of different camera angles, which is going to give you standard overhead or just the front or rear, even hitch view and side to side, which is going to be really, really nice when you're parallel parking or parking in general, just to see how close you're getting to that curb. Coming down, it's got my favorite, you guessed it, temperature control buttons. Not only are these easy to use, but there are some redundancies as they have temperature controls in the screen as well. Plus, since it has Google built in, you can even have Google do it for you. Hey Google, set the temperature to 70 degrees.
All right, changing the temperature to 70 degrees.
Man, doesn't get much easier than that. Coming down from the temperature controls, you have a wireless phone charger, a couple USB ports, and some cup holders, but here's where it gets a little upsetting. They've got a bunch of piano black around the cup holders, and when you're throwing your keys or your phone or your glasses or whatever, this is gonna get super scratched up. So not only on the daily are you gonna see all of the dust and fingerprints, but this is gonna get so scratched and that's gonna last. So I wish they didn't use piano black for this material, but as far as materials go, there isn't a whole lot of that anywhere else. You know, they've got this brushed aluminum trim on the side, a lot of soft press surfaces on the sides here, and even some different textures on the dash. It has a flat leather surface on the top, and then this textured mixture right on the front here, which Mary said looked like dragon skin, and I don't think that is correct, but at least it's different. And then kind of a faux carbon fiber-esque finish with a little bit of more brushed aluminum and that red stitching. So I do like it breaks it up a little bit, but it's a lot of black and dark gray, so everything kind of gets lost. But one of my favorite things is this center console. Not only is it large, you can fit quite a few things in here, but it's got a little secret. With the push of a button, you can actually move this whole center console back, and now you've got space for a small dog, a bag, all of your chips and snacks. I mean, the possibilities are endless. Not to mention, these now make the cup holders even closer to your second row passenger. So this is actually a really, really cool thing. Speaking of cool, check out this panoramic roof. It is massive. To open the slide, you press this button right here, and then to tilt it, you press this button over on the side, and then to slide it all the way back, you press this button. It's all one touch, which is really nice. You don't have to press and hold. But aside from that, up here, you're gonna find controls for your power fold third row. So with a push of a button, you can actually fold them down and you can fold them back up. Now over on the side here, this is where they've kept a lot of buttons for a ton of different functions, which I like because it keeps this nice and open. The passenger doesn't need to know when to adjust your suspension or use your trailer brake controller, which will be found over here on the side, along with a button for your camera angles, your parking sensors, traction control, hill descent control, even adjusting your suspension and different drive modes. As far as drive modes, it only has a couple. It's got normal, sport, off-road, and tow haul. Not to mention, it's comfortable. These seats feel like supportive lazy boys, but this also has the RST package, which means it comes with magnetic ride control and adaptive air ride suspension, which makes driving this feel like you're on a cloud, which is not what I would have expected with these huge 24-inch carbon flash metallic wheels. Typically with a tire that is the size of only a rubber band, I would expect a much rougher ride, but I'm pleasantly surprised. Taking a look at the rest of the exterior, it's wrapped in radiant red and has black badging along with black trim, giving it a very aggressive look. In the back, it's got that big RST badge, and my favorite, these dual exhaust with quad chrome tips, but most importantly, this Duramax badge. That's right, under the hood is that 3-liter inline-6 turbo diesel Duramax engine, made it up to a 10-speed auto, producing 305 horsepower, 495 pound-feet of torque. There's no lie, cars and trucks are outrageously expensive these days, for the most part. So if you plan on keeping the ride you love, consider an extended warranty with Grainger Warranty. They are the leading online manufacturer-backed extended warranty dealer in the country. With Grainger, you can save up to $1,000 on your extended warranty and get your ride fixed with manufactured parts installed by manufactured trained techs. Check out GraingerWarranty.com or click on that link below. Now, this diesel Tahoe can tow up to 8,000 pounds, which, let's be honest, is not the record holder when it comes to its competition like the Sequoia, the Expedition, or even the Armada. But it is enough to be able to tow a boat or even a small camping trailer. But something to note is the gas version of this Tahoe can tow a little bit more, up to 8,200 pounds. And that's not the only difference between the gas and the diesel. What you won't find on either the diesel Tahoe or the diesel Suburban is Super Cruise, which really stinks because at this price point, we'll get to that at the end, I would have kind of expected to have Super Cruise, but it isn't available on their diesel options. On the GMC Yukon and the Yukon XL, sure, you can get Super Cruise on those diesel options, but not Chevy's Tahoe or the Suburban. So that is kind of a bummer, but this still does have adaptive cruise control, which is what I primarily would want on those long road trips. Another important quality to have in order to be a popular option would be great fuel economy, and this diesel Tahoe gets a combined 22 mpg, but I took it out on our Denver 100 loop and the test results were surprising to say the least. Time to fill her up. Want that diesel? And if you haven't seen this test before, it is a roughly 111 mile loop around the greater Denver metro area. Mainly highway speeds, but there is a little bit of slowdown as we get towards the end in Golden with some stop and go traffic. A lot of people have been able to test even higher than 24. So I want to get closer to like 28 if we can. Just complete our trip. As you can see, we went 110.6 miles and this computer is telling us we averaged 28.2 mpg, which is huge and also kind of what my goal was. But let's fill her up, do some calculations and see what it actually got. All right, 4.1 gallon. All right, we went 110.6 miles divided by 4.1 gallons is 26.97, so about 27 mpg. So the trip computer is being a little optimistic over what it actually went, but still averaging 27 mpg for this big diesel when it's really only calling for 24 is pretty fantastic. So not only did it have a higher MPG than it was rated for, but the ride was super comfortable, which is very important for road trips. When you're on long road trips, you want to make sure your passengers are comfortable as well. And there is no shortage of that in the second row. Not only do I have tons of headroom, 5'7" for reference, but I've got leg room and feet room for days, and this is scooted up all the way forward. I can even scoot this back or go back forward, and they recline, which is pretty fantastic. Couple nice little comfy captain seats, but my favorite is our own climate zone back here. Adjustable temperature, adjustable fan speed, auto, which mode. This is fantastic. Second row passengers also have heated seats. How neat is that? Also a couple USB-C ports and a household outlet, which is really, really nice to have. Not to mention a view out of this huge panoramic sunroof. But what if you have really little ones? Like, how easy are the car seats to install and how much space do you have left? All right, got my car seat base. We want front to vehicle here. There's a couple ways that you can install car seats. You can either go by the seatbelt itself, it goes kind of underneath here, or you can go with the anchors. I like the anchors. So you find where the anchors are located in the seat, and they are pretty obvious, which is really nice. They're not super buried. Get those in there. Before we tighten this down, we want to make sure that these are level, to which they are not. So to adjust the base, what you can do is lift these up and it will adjust for you. So that was way too much. We want to go way down, and that is much nicer. Then the important part is you're gonna wanna push down as much as you can, pull this sucker all the way up, and you wanna make sure that there is no more than an inch of play. That is pretty nice. All right, so moment of truth, let's get her clicked in. Very nice. So I have this set to where I normally drive at 5'7", and there's about 2 inches of space here. But I also have this seat all the way up. So if someone taller than me is driving, which is very likely, I can scoot this seat all the way back, and now I have tons of room. So let's scoot the driver's seat back all the way, because sometimes you got 2 kiddos and they're both gonna be using captain seats. Otherwise, I would probably just use the passenger seat, but let's see how far back it goes. All right, seat is all the way back, and we are, man, you can fit a piece of paper through here. So it is not touching the car seat, but you can, rule of thumb is you want to be able to at least slide a piece of paper through here, and you can. There is room. Not a lot of room, but this goes to show if you do have 2 kiddos and they both have to be in infant car seats and you've got a giant person driving, you can handle it. If you do get stuck in the 3rd row, it's not the end of the world. Look at this, 5'7" for reference, and I still have leg room and feet room, but even more so, I've got head space, which you don't see a whole lot in 3rd rows. I've got cup holders, USB-C port, and I've got some vents in the headliner. Some of the benefits of having captain seats is you can access the middle by kind of walking through the center. However, there are power fold seats for the 2nd row, which you can push down with a push of a button here, and another push, it will actually tumble forward, making it even easier to get out. Another important quality that a full-size SUV is gonna need is how useful it can be. Not only hauling people, but hauling stuff too. Like, let's say you got a family and you wanna go camping. Can you haul the people and the stuff? In the 2025 Tahoe, it's a decent amount of room behind the 3rd row, about 25 cubic feet, but with a couple of presses of these buttons, you can power fold the 3rd row and it jumps up to 72 cubic feet. That is quite a bit of room to haul a lot of your camping gear with space for those kiddos. So let's see how that goes. I've got my 2 giant camping bins, my 8-person yurt tent, my paddleboard, camping chairs, my water jug, my dry bag, my sleeping bag, my life vest. I've got everything I need in order to go camping with still plenty of space for everyone in the 2nd row. I think this definitely checks off that list. You wanna go camping? You wanna go camping? Or maybe you're actually replacing your fence and you need it for more of a utilitarian reason. And this can hold at least what I bought, which was 12 2x4s by 8 feet and 8 4x4 by 9s with a couple bags of Quikrete, and everything fits beautifully in here. One of the things that worked out really well though was because this center console moves back, I was able to move it all the way back to support the end of these beams so that they could come all the way out. So whether it's a bunch of kiddos and camping gear or a bunch of lumber you have to haul around, this can do it. For being a full-size SUV, the visibility is actually pretty great. The hood isn't too tall, so I can actually see where I'm going for the most part. But when it comes to parking, sometimes that can always be a little difficult. However, because it has all of these different camera angles, parking is a breeze. To show me an overhead view of just how close I'm getting to possibly maybe a huge light pole right there, or side angles to see how close I am on the lines themselves. So even in this huge full-size SUV with the extra camera angles, it's actually not that bad. So what is this RST Duramax Tahoe gonna cost you? Well, a whopping $82,930, but a new 2025 Tahoe can be had for as little as $61,000. And compared to those same competitors, it's actually on the more inexpensive side. Not to mention it's comfortable, capable, and fuel efficient. I guess I can see why this has been one of the best-selling full-size SUVs for years. Let me know if you guys have ever had a Tahoe or have wanted one, or if you think there should be a new full-size SUV king. Check out alltfl.com for even more videos. This is Jen. We'll see you next time. And there is, hair in my mouth. It's a sweet Ferrari right there. Oh, 430. 438.
It says
430. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, 438. Following a 430. What's up? What's up?